Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 5 to 6 days away from its official release by Disney, Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams, and even creator George Lucas. That is all set and ready to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that this film really is a very important movie to Disney and Lucasfilm as companies and to the Star Wars community because, let's face it, the future of the Star Wars franchise really does depend on the success of The Rise of Skywalker, not only at the box office, but exactly how it's going to resonate with the fans around the world. And that's one thing to keep note of here, is that this really is going to be a big deal for many fans around the world, and if we get a backlash similar to The Last Jedi, you can only imagine what's going to happen with the future films and Disney Plus, etc., etc. Now, with that being said, alright, when we look at everything that has been happening with The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of changes and adjustments were made throughout the months of August, September, and October in order to reshoot elements of the movie. In fact, 30% of the film was said to be reshot in order to really give the fans a different tone and to really make the film cater to a general audience more so, which honestly I think is a big mistake by Disney and Lucasfilm. Now, it's rather unfortunate, all has to do with George Lucas. Now, it's explained that through many of the changes by Disney and Lucasfilm during the months of August, September, and October is that many adjustments were made to the second and third acts of the movie in order for Disney to cater to the film to the general audience. It's actually explained that many of these changes involved Disney and Lucasfilm cutting several scenes in order to change the entire plot of the film, and that along with these changes, many of the scenes that George Lucas created were deleted from the movie. Now, it's said that one of the segments that George Lucas directed for the movie was going to involve a scene in which both Rey and Kylo Ren would engage in a flash fight on the world of Naboo, where it's explained that George Lucas had handpicked this planet to appear in the second act of the film, where the flash fights were said to happen. It's explained that originally both Rey and Kylo would fight within the city of Theed, and in the same location of where Darth Maul fought both Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, where the entire scene was cut by Disney to focus on another flash fight that would only focus on the worlds of Kijimi and others between Rey and Kylo. Additionally, it's said that one of the other scenes that George Lucas wrote for the film that was deleted as well involved a segment in which Luke Skywalker was going to use a specific type of power that would allow him to come back to life temporarily to face the Emperor with Rey and Kylo Ren. It said that this was George's attempt to please the fans and to do something powerful for Luke in the third act of the film by bringing him back to life temporarily through the power of the wills. However, this was changed and deleted by Disney and them making Rey the chosen one and the one who defeats Palpatine. Lastly, it said that George Lucas was the one who directed the Anakin Skywalker scene at the end of the film in which he would appear physically as a Force ghost, only for him to also be deleted by Disney, only focusing on various Force ghost voices at the very end of Episode 9. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and as to why this just sounds like a disaster of everything that they have done with the changes of this movie and what really could have been of the initial cut of The Rise of Skywalker. Now, this kind of reminds me of, what happened with other movies and other franchises out there where they had an entire different cut of the movie where everything was essentially different. So, for example, essentially the original cut was going to feature Luke Skywalker using a specific power that was rooted from the power of the wills, allowing him to come back to life temporarily by using such a power to fight Palpatine along with both Rey and Kylo Ren. Now, that to me sounds magical. That to me sounds like it would have been a beautiful moment for Luke, and also dives into the original scripts of Return of the Jedi. In case you guys did not know, in the original script of Return of the Jedi, there is a moment in which Obi-Wan Kenobi comes back to life. His Force ghost manifests itself into flesh and blood. That's basically what Luke was going to do at the very end of Episode 9 before the reshoots and the rewrites were done. And could you only imagine the audience and their reaction if that actually happened in the final cut of the movie? I think fans would have went wild and would have really respected the entire, meaning of the title, and I could see now that that probably was the original meaning of the title of the movie, was Luke using the power of the wills to come back to life temporarily to fight Palpatine along both Rey and Kylo Ren, hence the Rise of Skywalker. Now the Rise of Skywalker pertains to Rey taking the Skywalker name and calling herself Rey Skywalker. Honestly, what we have right now is nothing in comparison to what George originally wanted to do for Episode 9, without a doubt. Now, the other thing that I think is a missed opportunity by Disney and Lucasfilm was how they deleted Anakin Skywalker's presence at the very end of this movie. So in case you guys did not know, there was going to be a segment at the very end of Episode 9 that featured Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost appearing in front of Rey, offering her energy from the netherworld of the Force. That has all been changed and is also to be done off-screen now, where she only hears Force Ghost voices, different Force Ghosts out there, like Anakin, Luke, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and a lot more, even Leia, and the list goes on. They all become a part of Rey's spirit in the final version of the movie, whereas opposed to the original cut, we were going to have Anakin's Force Ghost primarily doing that ability for Rey. So once again, all the changes by Disney and Lucasfilm, it just spells a recipe for disaster, at least in my point of view. You know, the leaks are real that we have gone over. A lot of things have been pointed out, such as, you know, everything related to, you know, the character of Snoke that we went over, everything related to Palpatine that we have gone over, and even Rey. So, about George Lucas, like I say, I mean, the man is the man. He created Star Wars back in 1977. I don't know why Disney and Lucasfilm would bring him back on board, only for them to delete many of the scenes that he actually worked on, either ones that he wrote or directed for the movie. It's actually said that over half of George's work was deleted from The Rise of Skywalker, and that's exactly because of the reshoots and the rewrites. Now, keep in mind that originally, Episode 9 was actually estimated to be 4 hours and change as far as its running time goes. And this is similar to how The Last Jedi was treated. The Last Jedi was 3.5 hours, as Rian Johnson stated before in the past, before it was cut down to 2 hours and change. So obviously, by cutting out a lot of the screen time or a lot of the footage, you're going to lose a lot of those segments of the movie. But I don't understand why they would cut out the sequences that the fans would really accept and would really actually love and would have really served as a true meaning of the name or the title of the movie, The Rise of Skywalker. Without a doubt, right? When you look at that title, when the fans look at that title, they believe it has something to do with Luke or Anakin. And I really do feel bad for a lot of fans out there, because it really has nothing to do with Luke or Anakin, The Rise of Skywalker. It only has to do with Rey. And that's my big problem with this movie so far, is that yes, she is going to be called Rey Skywalker at the very end of the movie. She calls herself that. She takes the Skywalker name, and that's that. She's not related to the Skywalkers in any way, shape, or form. She just identifies as a Skywalker, basically, right? So, the other missed opportunity, obviously, were the flash fights. The flash fights sound amazing of what George originally wanted to do. You guys may recall that we talked about this for a number of months, where there were going to be segments in this movie that featured Mustafar, Tatooine, Naboo, all of our fan favorite, you know, worlds of the Skywalker saga that had been around for years upon years, that were going to make appearances in the movie, where both Rey and Kylo Ren would essentially be fighting across space and time, where it would basically be a evolution of the Force back vision that Rey had in The Force Awakens, where you do see her in the, you know, the little Coruscant, or not the Coruscant, in the corridors, I should say, of Bespin, where she goes through the corridors of Bespin, and you actually see that moment in which she's able to walk through it. It was going to be similar to that, except they would be engaging in a lightsaber duel, where it would have been something very unique by Abrams and George that was ultimately deleted by, of course, Disney and Lucasfilm. Again, a big mistake. I don't know why they did this, but we'll have to wait and see. We got 5 days to go until this movie drops, and the fans are going to be able to determine the movie for themselves and what they really think about it. But the majority of what we have been talking about is indeed true. Everything related to Rey, Palpatine, Snoke, like I say, we've been going over this for a couple of days now, and things really aren't looking that bright for many segments in this movie, if I really have to be honest there. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them once again.